80% of you watching this right now will break your New Year's promise by February. And here's what's disturbing. Your brain is actively designed to make you fail. Now, before you click away, thinking this is just another depressing psychology video, stay with me. Because by the end of this, I'm going to show you one psychological technique that actually works. But only if you understand what I'm about to tell you first. So let me ask you something personal. How many times have you stood at the edge of a new year making promises to yourself? This year will be different. This year, I'll finally lose that weight, start that business, fix that relationship, become the person I know I can be. And how many times have you found yourself in March or even February, right back where you started? If you're still watching, I'm guessing the answer is more than once, maybe more than 5 times. Here's what I need you to know right now. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not lacking willpower. What's happening is something much more fascinating. Your brain is sabotaging you, not because it hates you, but because it's following an ancient survival program that's completely mismatched with modern life. And once you understand this program, everything changes. Okay, I want you to do something right now. Think about the last New Year's promise you broke. Got it? Good. Now think about how it felt when you made that promise. That surge of possibility, that rush of motivation. You could feel the future version of yourself, right? Clear as day. Here's what actually happened in that moment. And this is going to sound strange, but bear with me. Your brain released dopamine. Not from doing the work, not from achieving the goal, from imagining it. Scientists call this the fresh start effect. Your brain is hardwired to love symbolic new beginnings. Birthdays, Mondays, the first of the month, and especially January 1st. These moments trigger something in your neural circuitry. They feel like a clean slate, like a magic portal to a different version of yourself. And here's the trap. Pay attention to this because it explains everything. That feeling is so powerful, so intoxicating, that your brain treats it like an accomplishment. You feel like you've already changed just by deciding to change. Think about that promise you just remembered. Didn't it feel amazing when you first made it? Didn't you tell people about it? Didn't you buy the thing, download the app, make the plan? That felt productive, right? But you hadn't done anything yet. You just imagined doing it. And your brain gave you the reward anyway. Now reality arrives, and reality doesn't care about your January 1st promise. Your brain is not your enemy. I know it feels that way. I know it feels like you're fighting against yourself. But here's what's actually happening. Your brain is doing exactly what 200,000 years of evolution designed it to do. Protect you from threats and conserve energy. Think about it from your brain's perspective for a moment. You're asking it to change a habit. But habits exist for a profound reason. They're your brain's way of putting behavior on autopilot, so you don't have to consciously think about every single action you take all day long. When you try to change a habit, your brain doesn't see opportunity. It sees danger. It sees unpredictability. It sees increased energy expenditure. It sees risk, and it resists. This is why willpower doesn't work long term. And this is crucial. Willpower is like holding your breath. You can do it for a while. You can white-knuckle your way through a few weeks, maybe even a few months. But eventually, you have to breathe. Eventually, your brain will pull you back to the familiar pattern, not because you're weak, because you're human. Here's something else your brain is doing that sabotages you. It's wired to prioritize immediate rewards over future benefits. Scientists call this temporal discounting. The dopamine hit from scrolling your phone right now feels more real, more tangible, more urgent than the abstract benefit of being productive later. The comfort of that familiar food right now feels more important than the distant goal of losing weight. Your brain lives in the present, always. So when you make a New Year's resolution, you're essentially asking your ancient survival brain to fight against millions of years of evolution, to delay gratification, to embrace discomfort, to value the future over the present. And you're expecting it to do this through sheer willpower, starting on an arbitrary date that has no biological meaning whatsoever. No wonder it doesn't work. But, and this is where everything shifts, once you stop fighting your brain and start working with it, real change becomes not just possible, but almost inevitable. Remember that technique I mentioned at the beginning? We're getting there, but first, you need to understand one more thing. Here's what nobody talks about. The real cost of these broken promises isn't the weight you didn't lose or the business you didn't start. It's what happens to your relationship with yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your brain creates a memory. Not a conscious memory, a pattern memory. And that memory says, we can't trust ourselves to follow through. After years of this, you know what happens? You stop making promises at all. You stop dreaming. You stop believing that you're capable of change. And that's when you're truly stuck. But here's the beautiful part. Here's why I wanted you to watch this whole video. Because once you understand how your brain works, you can rebuild that trust. Not through massive transformation, through something much simpler. So let's talk about what really works. Not fantasy, not motivation. Real psychological strategies that respect how your brain actually functions. First, and this might surprise you, stop waiting for January 1st. The idea that you need a special date to start is part of the problem. It reinforces the fantasy that change happens in a moment rather than through daily choices. If you want to change something, start now. Not Monday, not next month, right now. Even if it's 3 p.m. on a random Tuesday. Especially if it's 3 p.m. on a random Tuesday. Second, get brutally honest about why you haven't changed yet. This is uncomfortable, but it's essential. If you've been promising yourself you'll lose weight for 5 years, there's a reason you haven't. And it's probably not about weight. Maybe it's about control. Maybe it's about filling an emotional void. Maybe the weight protects you from something you're afraid to face. If you keep saying you'll start that business, but never do, ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? What does staying stuck protect me from? Your brain doesn't create patterns randomly. Every behavior serves a function. Until you understand what function your current behavior serves, you can't replace it with something healthier. Third, and this is the technique I promised you, make it so small it feels ridiculous. Listen carefully. This is the most important one. Your brain resists big changes, but it's terrible at resisting tiny ones. Don't promise to go to the gym 5 times a week. Promise to put on your gym clothes. That's it. Just put them on. You can take them off after if you want, but put them on. Don't promise to write a novel. Promise to write 1 sentence. 1. You can write more if you want, but just 1 sentence. This isn't about tricking yourself. This is about removing resistance. Once you're in your gym clothes, you'll probably go to the gym. Once you write 1 sentence, you'll probably write more. But even if you don't, you've done something profound. You've proved to your brain that you can follow through. You've made a tiny deposit in your self-trust account. Do this for 30 days. Just 30 days. And watch what happens. Fourth, Attach new behaviors to existing ones. Your brain already has strong neural pathways for things you do automatically every day. Brushing your teeth, making coffee, getting in your car. Use those pathways. If you want to meditate, do it immediately after you brush your teeth. Same time, same place, every day. If you want to read more, do it while you drink your morning coffee. Your brain will link the new behavior to the existing pattern, making it exponentially easier to stick. Fifth, track showing up, not results. Here's a hard truth. Results take time, sometimes months. But your brain needs feedback now, today, this moment. So instead of tracking whether you've lost weight or built the business, track whether you showed up. Did you put on your gym clothes today? Check. Did you write one sentence? Check. This gives your brain the dopamine it needs to keep going, even before you see external results. And finally, be honest about your capacity. You are not going to completely transform your life in 3 months. I know that's not what you want to hear, but accepting it is liberating. You can change one thing, maybe 2 if they're small, but not 10. Choose what matters most, not what sounds impressive, not what you think you should change, what you actually want to change, deep in your bones. So here's what I want you to take from this. You're not failing because you're broken. You're failing because you're trying to change in ways that work against 200,000 years of evolution. Your brain isn't sabotaging you out of malice. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. And when you understand that, when you really get it, you can stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. Real change doesn't happen because of a date on a calendar. It happens because you get honest about why you haven't changed yet, because you make it absurdly easy for your brain to do the new thing, because you show up consistently, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when nobody's watching. And here's the part that changes everything. Once you do this, once you actually change something small and prove to yourself that you can follow through, something shifts. Not all at once, gradually. You start to trust yourself again. And that trust, that self-trust, is more powerful than any New Year's promise could ever be. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You don't need a new year. You don't need motivation. You don't need a perfect plan. You need to stop waiting for permission to become who you already know you can be. And that starts the moment you finish watching this video. If this resonated with you, if you're tired of the cycle and ready to actually understand yourself better, subscribe to this channel. Because we're going to keep exploring the psychology behind why we do what we do. And more importantly, how we can do it differently. Not through motivation, through understanding. You don't need a new year. You need a new understanding. And you already took the first step. I'll see you in the next one.